Good evening. It is great to see you all here after the storm we had this afternoon. Anybody get wet? Oh, good, good. It really came down for a little while this afternoon, and we always hate to see that on concert day because it tends to keep a lot of folks away. They think it's going to happen again after they get here, and usually it happens just like this. And this is why we always tell everybody we're going to play rain or shine. Doesn't matter. I told them once I played for 2 women and a dog, and that's okay. We're going to play. We spent all this time rehearsing, and we're going to play even if there's nobody. But we appreciate you folks braving the weather and coming out and listening to us tonight. And thanks for being here. George Knapp, former marching band director at East Carolina University, said that a national anthem should be a citizen's love song to their country. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the playing of our national anthem? Our opening march this evening is a march entitled America Exultant. It features the melody from America, and if you listen carefully, you'll hear that melody coming through. This march was originally published in 1917, near the time when the United States entered World War I, under the nom de plume, or writer. You know how a lot of writers will write things under somebody else's name. But he wrote it under the name Al Hayes. But here is America Exultant by Henry Fillmore. Thank you. Our guest conductor this evening is Dr. Johnny Vinson. Dr. Vinson is Director of Bands and Professor of Music Emeritus at Auburn University. He received his bachelor's and master's degrees in music education from Auburn and a doctoral degree in music theory from the University of Mississippi. Dr. Vinson retired from Auburn University several years ago after a long career with the Auburn bands. Prior to joining the Auburn faculty, he taught in the schools of Columbus, Georgia, and worked as a graduate assistant in the bands at the University of Texas and the University of Mississippi. At Auburn, he supervised the overall band program, conducted the symphonic band, and taught conducting and band arranging. With over 500 published arrangements and compositions, Dr. Vinson is an internationally recognized composer of music for band. His exclusive publisher is the Hal Leonard Corporation, the world leader in music print industry. O'er the Land of the Free was commissioned by and is dedicated to the International Bandmasters Fraternity Phi Beta Mu. The year 2014 was the anniversary of several important events in American history, which include the 200th anniversary of the writing of the Star-Spangled Banner in 1814, the 100th anniversary of the beginning of World War I in 1914, the 70th anniversary of Operation Overlord, the 1944 Allied invasion of Nazi-occupied France, which marked the beginning of the end of World War II in Europe. It is in remembrance of these events that this composition was written. The primary theme is original, but interwoven throughout are the opening motifs of America the Beautiful and the Star-Spangled Banner. Here's Dr. Johnny Vinson conducting his original composition, O'er the Land of the Free.
Thank you.
Ray Charles' unique style and passion for music is forever etched in our country's cultural fabric. He is regarded, somebody dropped their watch. He is regarded as one of the most iconic and influential singers in history, and was often referred to by his contemporaries as the genius. This masterful arrangement we're about to play of I Can't Stop Loving You, Hallelujah, I Love Her So, Let the Good Times Roll, What'd I Say, and closing with our state song, Georgia on My Mind. Here is Michael Brown's arrangement of The Genius of Ray Charles. One of the greatest successes in the annals of American popular music, and the song that made Irving Berlin famous all over the world, is Alexander's Ragtime Band. According to Berlin, who was quoted in a 1914 article in Theater magazine, "The melody came to me right out of the air. I wrote the whole thing in 18 minutes, surrounded on all sides by roaring pianos and roaring vaudeville actors." Berlin told the story of how Alexander was written to his friend Reinhold Wolf, who recounted it for an article titled "The Boy Who Revived Ragtime." Wolf describes it: "The greater portion of the song was written in 10 minutes and in the offices of the music publishing firm of Watterson, Berlin, and Snyder, with 5 or 6 pianos on one side and as many singers on the other side, making bedlam of songs of the day." Wolf continued, Berlin was not impressed by it, so he didn't even bother to write it down. He started on a trip to Florida, and just before train time, he went to his office to look for anything he might have left behind for the publishing company to publish that might be worth giving to them. And he found a note about something called Alexander. So he thought about it a while, and it finally came back to him. So he wrote it for lack of anything better to do, just to kill time, while he sat at the piano and completed the song before he got on his train. So to him, it was just sort of a toss-away thing, and it's what made him famous the world over. This is Irving Berlin's Alexander's Ragtime Band. America the Beautiful has been called an expression of patriotism at its finest. It conveys an attitude of appreciation and gratitude for the nation's extraordinary physical beauty and abundance without triumphalism. At various times in the more than 100 years that have elapsed since the song was written, there have been efforts to give America the Beautiful legal status either as a national hymn or as a national anthem equal to or in place of the Star-Spangled Banner. Here is Carmen Dragon's arrangement of America the Beautiful, considered by many to be the most famous version of this song. There are 4 neighboring towns located in northwest Alabama on the banks of the Tennessee River: Florence, Tuscumbia, Sheffield, and Muscle Shoals. Collectively, this area is known as the Shoals. Among the earliest inhabitants of the area were the Yuchi tribe of Native Americans. The Yuchi tribe believed that in the Tennessee River, there was a young woman who sang beautiful songs. These songs were beloved by the Native Americans. They called the Tennessee River a Yuchi word meaning the river that sings, or the singing river. In the spring of 2010, Dr. Vinson was commissioned by the Shoals Area Band Directors Association to write a work for the 25th anniversary of the Shoals Honor Band, an event held annually to showcase outstanding high school musicians in the area. As ideas for the composition were being discussed, it was perhaps only natural that the singing river would come up. As one of the Shoals Area Band Director wrote, "I like the idea of focusing on the river. It is one thing we all have in common." Here is Dr. Vinson conducting his original composition, The Singing River. It's a very special thing for me to have Dr. Vincent here since he was one of my instructors when I was in college. So it's great to have him here doing this for us, and we really appreciate him being here. The LaGrange Community Band exists completely on donations and contributions from the community. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so all donations are exempt from taxes. If you have a printed program in your hand, you may use the Facebook QR code on the front to follow us and the PayPal QR code on the back to make a donation to us if you would like to. As has become our tradition, as we play our final selection for the evening, if you would like to come down and leave us a donation in one of our donation buckets on the stage, we will gladly accept it. Don't feel embarrassed to walk down here while we're playing. We don't mind at all. Not a bit. So as we play our final number, and if you've got an extra $1 in your pocket, you want to drop it in the bucket, please feel free to do so. On December the 11th, 1987, President Ronald Reagan signed into federal law Bill S-860. The legislation says, "Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled, that the composition by John Philip Sousa entitled The Stars and Stripes Forever is hereby designated as the National March of the United States of America." Ladies and gentlemen, our National March, The Stars and Stripes Forever.